were two men. These men were twins. And you know, they were not identical twins, they were fraternal twins. That means, of course, that they didn't look alike. So always when there are twins born, one is born before the other. And in this particular instance, the one who was born became the inheritor of his father's estate. And the one who was born second was always jealous of his brother. He was jealous because he thought his father loved his brother better. He was jealous because the older brother was going to inherit the estate, and he didn't think that he would get much because, like a lot of us, we think there isn't enough to go around. And so he was always jealous and trying to get more because he didn't think there was enough to go around. And when they were grown, the firstborn was out working one day, and he came home, and he was hungry and he was tired. And the secondborn had made a stew. Now, since he was always jealous, he was always thinking about how can I get my share and more of my father's estate. And so he said, I know what I'll do. I'll make this delicious stew. And just as Esau comes home, he's going to be hungry. And I know how I'm going to get his birthright. So sure enough, Esau came home and he was hungry. And he smelled the stew. You know how when you come home and you're tired and you're hungry, and if someone has been there and they have made something that smells so delicious, oh, you'll do just about anything for it, won't you? Well, that's the way Esau was. He was tired and he was hungry, and he could smell the soup. So he comes into the house and he's smelling it. And he says, oh, give me some of that. And Jacob says, I will, if you'll sell me your birthright. Sell you my birthright? Yes, you can have a bowl of this stew if you'll sell me your birthright. And Esau, because he was so hungry, he said, all right, you can have my birthright. And Jacob says, can I have that in writing? And so he signed away his birthright just for a bowl of stew. He gave up all his claim to his father's estate just for a bowl of soup. We do that every day. We give up our birthright every day. We give it up because we don't think there is enough to go around. And so we think and connive and manipulate how we can get more. Our portion of our Father's birthright, of our Father's inheritance. You may not think you do this, but every one of us do it. What is your birthright? Most of us think, well, I don't have an inheritance coming. My parents didn't have much. They're not going to leave me anything, or if they're gone, they didn't leave me much, or if anything. And what our birthright is a right to a healthy body. Our birthright is the right to an abundant life, however you define abundance. And that means a life that is free of worry about money, because our birthright is that we have all the money we could possibly want. We have a right to a home that we love, a wonderful environment to live in. We have the right to friends, as many friends as we could possibly want. We have the right to loving relationships, to a spouse, a partner, to a family, free of squabbles, free of arguments, free of Esau's and Jacob's. This is our birthright, and it is our inheritance. And we can have that inheritance right this minute. We don't have to wait until we die to get it. We don't have to wait for our parents to die to have everything we want. We have a right to all of this, right this very moment. We have a right to peace in our lives. We have a right to peace in the world. This is our birthright. This is what we were born with. We have a right to joy, joy unspeakable, joy that permeates every part of our being, down to the very souls of our bodies, cells of our bodies, and our soles of our feet. We have a right. This is what we were born with. We had it when you were born. The moment you were born, you began to squander it. And how you squander it is through the race consciousness to begin with, through our parents, through our teachers, through our parents, friends. We begin to squander our birthright the moment we're born for our families. We squander it by denying our good. We squander it by denying that we have this. We squander it through fears. Our fears are, what are our fears? Right now, there is a fear that's permeating the media. It's permeating everybody. You stop to think about it. We're all so afraid that we're going to go to war with Assyria. That's all we talk about. And you know what we know, and this teaching is that the more we resist something, the more it's going to persist. The more that we pay attention to something, the more likely it's going to happen. The more we think about it, the more likely it's going to happen. We squander our birthright with fears. Fears of not having enough money. Oh, there's too much money, too much month at the end of my money. I don't have enough to pay my rent. I don't have enough to buy food. I don't have enough blah, blah, blah. We squander our birthrights with our fears of never having enough. We squander our birthright with doubt. This is how we squander. This is how we give away. We give away our birthright every time we open our mouth with a negative thought. Every time we think a negative thought. Every time we deny the good in our life. We're giving away our birthright. We squander our birthrights with our thoughts, with our feelings, and with our beliefs. Our beliefs about ourselves. Oh, I can never have that. Oh, I can never have a friend who will love me. I'm not good enough. I'm not slim enough. I'm not rich enough. I'm not poor enough. Whatever you think about yourself, you're squandering your birthright if it's less than what you really are. Every time we squander our birthright with our feelings, how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about our private lives, how we feel about our world. We squander our birthright with our beliefs. What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about this world that we live in? If you are denying the good of it all, you're squandering your birthright. So if you're squandering it, when and how can you get it back? If you, like Esau, have given away your birthright for a bowl of stew, how do you get it back? And when? First of all, you had it when you were born. And we all began to lose it when our parents began to criticize us, when our parents' beliefs began to permeate our own beliefs. This is when we begin to lose it. And we get it back the minute, the moment, the second that we remember who we are. When we remember there's only one, that one is whatever we call it, God, Abba, Father, Spirit. When we remember there is only that one organizing principle, spirit, whatever name you give it. There is only one. We remember our birthright when we remember that we are part of that one. And we get it back when we begin to accept it. Can you accept that you and God are one? If there's nothing outside of God, and that if there's nothing outside of God, and God is abundant, I mean, you can't look out at the world and not believe that God is abundant. There is an abundance of everything. When you begin to accept that you are part of that one, and that that one is the creative energy that created this universe, you can accept that you are a creative energy as well. Then you begin to reclaim your birthright. And when you begin to allow it, we can remember it, we can accept it, but then we have to allow it. Because so many of us believe it, but we don't allow it in. For whatever reasons, we block it. I block my good. I don't know about you all, but I block my good. Because I'm thinking, well, maybe they'll... I deny it. But I struggle with it. I struggle with, it's really expensive, maybe I'm down, all that stuff. We block our good. We don't allow it in for whatever reasons. And when we can get to the bottom of what it is that's blocking our good, then we are going to be astonished at the flow of good that comes to our lives. What is it that you're blocking, that you won't let in to your life? For whatever reason, it doesn't matter what the reason is. You can go back to your infancy if you want to. You can spend years in counseling if you want to find out what's blocking your good. But there is something that's blocking your good if you're not all that you want to be. If you don't have all you want to be. To allow your good to come into your life. This is your birthright. Your good is your birthright. Watch your life change. Watch how your good begins to flow into your life. So we squander our birthright by denying it. We deny who we are. And this is giving away our birthright. With our negative thinking, we squander our birthright. With fear and doubt, we give it all away. And we can return, we can have our birthright right now. We don't have to wait until we die to go to heaven. Heaven is right here, right now. Heaven is the state of mind. So we don't have to die to go to heaven. And we don't have to wait until we're dead to have, or our parents are dead, to have our birthright right this very moment. Because our Father is alive and well right this moment. And we can get, retrieve, receive our birthright when we accept it and believe it and allow it in. Accept it, believe it, and allow it in. If you don't remember anything else about today, remember this. Remember who you are. Remember that you are a child. You are an expression of the divine. And the divine has an abundant life for you. And you have to believe it. And you have to accept it. You have to stop blocking it.